Hello guys, welcome back to another video here on the Banjo Addict page. Thank you so much for pushing that play button. I greatly appreciate it. Today I want to talk about the bridge height on your banjo. Why you might want to change it, why you might want to leave it alone. So let's get into it. Now before I get into the bridge height, there's a couple of house cleaning items I need to take care of before we get started here. I just want to let you guys know that I have started a completely different page for the claw hammer style banjo. If you're interested in that page, it's a standalone page. I've taken all the content off of this page that has to do with claw hammer and I've uploaded it to a whole different page. I'll put a link up here in the description if you're interested in going over there and subscribing to that channel. It'll be everything having to do with my claw hammer style, me trying to learn it, what I'm learning, how I'm learning, what I'm learning, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards. There'll be a lot of stuff that's crossover from this page to that page, but that one will be mainly dealing with the claw hammer style, where this one will mainly be dealing with the 3-finger style. All right, guys, now let's get into the bridge height on your banjo. And if you've ever wondered about the bridge height or why you would want to change the bridge height, or if you wouldn't want to change the bridge height, what does it actually change if you raise it up, lower it down, if you move it around, whatever the situation may be? The first thing you've got to understand is most banjo manufacturers set their bridge height with their heel cut on the back of their neck. That heel cut puts this neck on a certain angle, and that angle determines what the height of the bridge should be on most banjos. The standard height at that point in time is probably about 5/8 of an inch. You can go all the way through. You can get down as narrow as a 1/2 inch. You can get as wide as a 3/4 inch. They probably make them wider than that, but I would see no use in getting that. But you know, a 1/2 inch, 5/8, 11/16, and I think 3/4 is pretty much your dominant sizes. But mainly most banjo manufacturers use a 5/8 of an inch. That's what their heel cut does, puts a 5/8 of an inch there. Now I do have another video that I talk about banjo bridges, the different styles of bridges, all the different things to do with banjo bridges, as far as what they are, everything you need to know about them, what they'll change, is tone and all that good stuff. And again, I'll put a link right up here to that video if you want to go through and watch about the banjo bridges. But mainly in this one, I want to talk about the height. So let's say you're going to change the height and you're going to raise this thing up. Now, I talk about in my tailpiece video, again, sorry for all the links, but I'll put a link up here to my tailpiece video. This is called a shear point across the top of your bridge. This is a shear angle. So the more angle you get in it, the more crisp the tone will be on the banjo, right? It's the more pressure pushed down against the head. Well, you can change the height of this and change that shear angle again, which makes the banjo sounds more crisp and the tone sounds a lot better. But what you're going to get into with raising this up, and it's kind of a compromise if you want to do it, or if you don't, if you like the sound of it, do it. You'll just have to get used to the fingerings of it. But what happens is when you raise it up here, it's going to raise it up at your neck right here. It's going to make the action high. We'll say the action gets high. Well, what happens is the action won't hurt you when you're up here up the down the neck on the banjo, but you start coming up the neck right here and the strings get so high you can't do a whole lot of fretting and choking the strings without hitting the strings on either side of it when you get this action too high with your bridge. So that is definitely something to consider if you raise the height of your bridge. Now a lot of people think that if you change the height of the bridge that it affects the volume of the banjo. It really don't. It just sharpens the tone of the banjo. And something else you'll run into too is if you got muscle memory playing with a 5/8 inch banjo bridge, that it may challenge your muscle memory. You may have to relearn because you have to have your hands further away from the strings as you're picking, because you've raised the strings up here by however much that is. I mean, it'll throw you off a little bit, and so you'll have to adjust your hand up in order to hit the strings. I know in the other banjo bridge video I talked about compensated bridges where they look like either a half moon or they're a step. I think Deering does a step back to where your outside ones are closest to the peg head, and then the next two are a little further away from the peg head, and then the third string is the furthest away from the peg head. That's the set indentation on your banjo. Now, if you're wanting to get the, I will say pitch perfect, or if you want to get your bridge placed in the right place on your banjo, generally what I will do is start at 26 1/4 from the nut right here down to the face of the bridge on the inside. Start at 26 1/4. And then what you'll do is on the 12th fret is you'll take and you'll fret. What you'll do is you will fret the first string at the 12th fret right here. You'll fret it and then you'll pluck it. Hear that? And then you will let off of it and you'll do the harmonics over the 12th fret, which is taking the pad of your finger and going center on the 12th fret right here and just barely touching the string with the pad of your finger. Hear that? That should sound the same. And then do the same with the 4th string over here. Fret it at the 12th fret and pluck it. And then you will do the harmonics on it. And those should be the same. If they're the same, your bridge is in the right spot for where you want it at on your banjo. Now, if the fretted note is higher than the harmonic notes, then what you'll want to do is move your bridge away from the nut. You'll want to get a further distance in between it, okay? And I think that I've kind of played with mine and got it to where it is a little high, so I'm gonna just barely move it. Then now I've got them, I might still be a little high, and I'm gonna have to loosen it up and adjust it back just a little bit. But if when you fret the note, if it's higher than when you do the harmonics on it, then move your bridge away from the nut and do that on the 1st and the 4th string, and that'll kind of get your bridge lined up where it's supposed to be. Now, if this is lower, if the note sounds lower than the fretted note, then of course you'll move your bridge towards the nut. Anyways, if you keep playing with that, but you'll get it to where those two notes are the same, fretted and the harmonic on the 1st and the 4th string, that should set your bridge. That will set your bridge exactly where it's supposed to be at. Now, as far as the compensation and stuff, that's something that you'll have to play with and figure out, but it's something you definitely want to play with to get used to know how to do that on your own banjo. But just remember, the 12th fret, fret it, and then harmonics, 4th string, fret it, and then harmonics, and you want to get them to sound the same. You just know if it's higher, move your bridge towards the tailpiece. If the fretted note is lower, then you'll move it towards the peg head. All right, guys, thank you all so much for pushing that play button today. I greatly appreciate it. I hope this video has helped you out. I know it did me when I was going through it. Once I learned that and got it in my head, it was a game changer for me because I could always have my banjo bridge in the right spot. Guys, with that being said, we will see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching.